I'm a Medium, Ask Me How was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. We best friends, but we love talking about dead people. We're gonna laugh and we'll cry. Well, Dana's gonna cry a little bit.
We got love bombs all over the place. And let's not act like Matt isn't gonna cry a little bit. But we're also gonna cuss. So if that doesn't resonate, turn the fuck around.
Yeah, we're gonna drop some fuck bombs.
But we also want to share our experiences and knowledge about mediumship.
So sit down, get comfortable, and remember,
you are the light of 100,000 suns. You are the light.
And enjoy.
I'm a medium, so ask me how.
Matthew Tao.
Dana Willey. Dana, we're back. It's been
back.
weeks. Literally, it's been weeks.
I know. We haven't recorded an episode for like forever. We took a week off.
We're like, we need vacation. So Secret Trip happened. I think our audience has been like, where did you go? Why are you speaking about Secret Trip so much?
Because it was phenomenal. It was amazing. And for those of you that weren't following us on our TikTok journey, we went to Sedona.
Sedona, Arizona. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful there, Dana.
Yeah.
You know, you say a lot about Sedona because you've been there like, what, 4 times now?
This was my fourth trip. Yep.
Okay. You just keep telling me like, oh, it's so magical. It's so great. You know, like that friend that's always like, you need to try the fish. It's so good. Like you try the fish and you're just like, you avoid it because your friend is always like about the fish. But then you're just like, fine, I'm just going to do this to shut this bitch up. And then you try it and you're like, no, she was lying. She was not lying. It was really good. It was like Sedona. So like you explain Sedona in such a way that you're just like, when you're there, you'll get it. Like when you're there, don't worry about it. I can tell you so many stories, but you need to experience Sedona for Sedona being Sedona.
Right.
Like pictures don't do it justice. Like let's take a moment of how beautiful it is there.
Right.
Because we got off the plane, we got our rental car, we ended up flying in. We met in Denver. Let me just preface that. So we met in Denver. I flew from Massachusetts to Denver, and then from Denver to Phoenix, we ended up joining forces for that small amount of time.
Super twins, unite!
And then, what we need to segue first. Like, I'm sorry, people. This is going to be all over the place a little bit, just because I can't formulate the fucking sentences. So just bear with me. So we end up getting off the plane. We go to the luggage claim, and then we end up waiting for our luggage.
Yeah.
And so then you pull luggage off the carousel. And I'm like, oh, that bitch has my luggage. Like, oh, that's so nice of her to grab my luggage. She saw my luggage. She's just being a really good friend. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's not my tag on my luggage.
No, everybody.
Mine comes down.
We have matching luggage. Unintentional.
Unplanned.
Matching luggage. So if you guys all wonder, like, are they really? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was so mortifying where I was like, oh shit, we have the same luggage.
Honestly, and it's our friendship in a nutshell, is it not? Like
yes,
we took a picture
100%.
of it and sent it to our friend group, but it literally is our friendship in a nutshell. It's creepy.
It's ironic that we like the same things and we don't know what we like the same things until it happens.
Until we're slapped in the face with it. Like, who has the fact that we have matching luggage?
I don't know who has good taste at this point.
Who does that? The exact same guys. Same color, same brand, same size, everything.
These people do. These people. So it's about like a 2-hour drive, and we promised each other that we wouldn't work this trip. We were like, no, I ain't working. We're gonna enjoy it but we're gonna enjoy it. The whole ride to Sedona, we were talking about work.
Well, I mean, it just happens because we just start talking about like things that we want to do, and like we're dreamers and it's our passion. Like the cool thing about what Matt and I do is like this is like what we love more than anything in the world. So we get to work our passion. So whether it's doing the podcast or teaching our classes or doing readings, this is like what we love more than anything. So like it's hard to separate that like friend and work thing. But I think we did. We worked a lot like the first day, and then we didn't work the rest of the trip.
Well, we kind of did. I think in a way we did things because that's who we are. It's who we are as a core person. And this is what we love to do. And this is what makes us who we are. Right? So it's hard to shut off the best part about you. I always said mediumship's the best part about me. I don't know. Yeah. I know that's not true, but it's hard to shut that off and then just be normal, Matt, especially when you're around people that get you on a soul level, right? So I think if you get a group of mediums around each other, we're always going to talk about spirit. Spirit's going to come up because we understand it. It's an experience that not a lot of people understand because we go through really off the wall crap. Like, does spirit communicate with you this way? And have you had this experience? And people, the average Joe does not understand it. So it's like when we get around each other, you can't shut that off. No matter what we do. It's always going to come back.
You get two mediums together with matching luggage. Shit's going to get wild.
It's so true. So we end up getting an hour and a half into the trip. Hour and 45 minutes, and then you enter Sedona. And so it's completely like brown and taupe everywhere and like little cactuses. And I never thought like the iconic cactus silhouette that they do with like the three prongs. And I didn't know that was fucking real. I thought that was like hokey. Do you know what I mean? Like how people draw palm trees and stuff like that. Like I know it's not accurate, right? No, that shit's accurate.
And it's everywhere.
So then,
that's all you see.
Yeah, then you coast into Sedona and all of a sudden red just happens. Like the color red in that soil is so red that the cameras actually can't pick up how fucking red that sand is. There's no possible way. And it's literally, it looks like an ocean floor and they've drained all the water out of the basin of this and they've only left like the bottom floor of it. And it is the most moving. It moves you in this weird way. Because each has a thing called vortexes. Do you want to explain vortexes for them? Because I think I'm going to mess it up.
Well, vortexes are these, and it's scientific. So that's the cool thing about Sedona. And Matt, just kind of touched on the visual aspect of Sedona. Like when you get to see it, it's awe-inspiring. Like the pictures, it's frustrating when you try to take pictures of Sedona because you're like, the camera can't pick up the beauty. The camera can't take it all in. And it's a 360 view everywhere you go. You're surrounded 360 by like the most amazing things. And you just like, my camera can't pick it up. My camera can't pick it up. But you feel something in Sedona. Like there's a change in the way that you feel. You had even, and I'm, jumping ahead a little bit, but when we returned back to Phoenix to fly home, you were like, it feels so different here. Like you feel it when you leave Sedona. There is something different about the way Sedona feels. And it's scientifically based. So there are these vortexes in Sedona. And depending on who you ask, the number of vortexes will change. But, the most people agree there are at least 4. Some people will say there's 7. Some people will say there's more than that. But there are these energetic centers. And some have a magnetic pull downward, and some have a magnetic pull pushing outward. And they characterize these as either feminine or masculine vortexes. So the ones that push out are considered masculine. And when we talk about masculine or feminine, we're not talking about male or feminine. We're talking about pushing or receiving energies. And then the ones that are pulling in are the feminine vortexes. So that is, and then you can actually see these swirling, whirling things in evidence around you. So as you're walking through and getting closer to the vortexes, you can see the trees beginning to twist. So they have juniper trees all over these vortexes, and you can see the trees twisting. So Sedona literally is changing you, and you can literally feel the energy of Sedona. And you can see the evidence around you, and you can scientifically look it up, that there is something energetically going on in Sedona.
Mm-hmm. It's very visible. And if you feel it in a very weird way. I can't put into words the emotions that you feel, but I can tell you each vortex feels different. It feels like you're either calm, or you want to get up and move, or you want to be silent, or you want to like talk too much. Each one of them felt different. So I think the first one that we ended up going to was Bell Rock, which is your fancy place.
That's my favorite place.
It was so good. It was so good. But the Bell Rock is interesting because I feel like Bell Rock has 2 vortexes on it. I feel like it has a masculine, and then one side has a feminine, and each one of them felt differently. So I could see that it had duality at Bell Rock. I think one side we were very introspective, and the other one I was like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, is he going to shut up?
No. That's standard.
But it felt really nice. But I could sit there all day. I think my favorite out of any of them was Bell Rock. I would say like Bell Rock took my heart. And so we'll definitely put some pictures in the show notes as well for you guys to click on so you can see it at least. But the twisting of the trees is real.
Yeah.
And because they're not like that at the bottom, but they are at the top.
Yep, absolutely. And I want to get to the trees. We'll get to the trees because, we hug some trees. But so the next vortex that we went to was the Airport Mesa vortex.
Wait, hold on before we move on.
Hold on.
Can we talk about asking for permission to take a rock?
Yes, I love this. This made me so happy.
Okay. So Dana has taught me to ask permission to take things, or ask permission to do something, or like, I don't know. It's just out of respect, right? Respecting the land. It doesn't matter if if you think the tree is an entity, you just ask, right? It's consent. So I asked to take a rock at Bell Rock, and she was like, no. I was like, excuse me, I'll just take. But I felt like I just shouldn't. Like it felt like I should just leave everything the way it is. Don't touch anything. It's not yours. Walk away. And then I had said to you, I'm not supposed to take a rock because I wanted a rock. I wanted a rock. I don't know why I wanted one.
And she was like, nay, nay.
And she was like, not yet. You got to work for this delicious rock.
Yeah. You got to rock it.
Don't start me on that.
We're not going there. He won't stop.
We're not going to go there. All right. So then we went somewhere else. So she said no, and then we went somewhere else.
Yeah. So let's cover the vortexes first, because so then the next day we went to the Airport Mesa, which is another one of the main vortexes in Sedona. So how did you feel about Airport Mesa?
I liked the hike. It wasn't that bad. So first of all, I called myself an indoor plant the whole entire time, like before we had gone to Sedona. I'm like, Dana, you're taking like an indoor plant and you're putting it outside hoping it thrives. They commented on my outfits. So you understand, like I did not just dress to hike. I dressed up to hike.
Listen, he was Sporty Spice. He looked real put together.
If they're going to find my body in the desert, I at least want to be fashionable. That's my motto.
I had my Lulu and my Merrells on, and I was ready to go. And my Patagonia.
I ended up you talked me into buying some hiking shoes before we had gone. And then I ended up, because I bought water shoes, I didn't realize that hiking shoes and water shoes were completely different. My bad. So we ended up buying some shoes, but they had steel in the toe. So every time I would climb like Bell Rock or something like that, it would cut into my toes. And I'm like, I think I can survive this. It's only a couple more days. I didn't realize how much hiking we were going to do. But I think by day 2, I was like, Dana, I got to get new shoes. The indoor plant's starting to cry. So we ended up going to buy me new shoes. So preface that. But there was a lot of hiking. A lot of hiking. You just don't you're like, oh, here's a vortex. Let me just, no, like you climb really good for your glutes. There's some that are vertical that you actually have to use, like you're scaling a wall to get to. I feel like the one at Airport Mesa was a really nice hike. Like it was more of like a trail-ish. It wasn't like you were going up a mountain, over a mountain, blah, 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 blah. But we saw a lot of coyotes. We kept seeing coyotes everywhere,
the whole time.
which is really rare. It's really rare. And that guy that was on that trail, we could tell he was an indoor plant.
Yes. Yeah, he looked like he came from a stock meeting from New York. And I was like, sir, you are not dressed for this.
He's standing on a trail, trench coat, really nice hair, really nice sunglasses with his girlfriend. And he's banging, clapping, going, no, no. And he's like screaming, there's a coyote. If you leave them alone, they're going to leave you alone. I'm an indoor plant. I know enough to know that like wildlife is typically afraid of you unless they're rabid.
Yeah.
And this thing was like going away from him. And I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Well, the joke was that you were going to be like David Rose on the trail. Like, no, this guy was David Rose on the trail.
He was David Rose. I was still Moira Rose, out like walking around being like, welcome to the place I currently call I am. You know, like it was like that situation. Like, I'm not afraid to be outside. I'm just not an outdoor person. It's just nothing about this. Like I'm going to reveal something really, really sacred to myself. I don't talk to my neighbors. Like I did not speak. I've lived in my house for about 18 years. I did not talk to my neighbors for the first 15.
You really got out of your comfort zone in the last 3 years.
Yes,
good job.
I just don't go outside. It's just not for me. I'm like, no, it's cool. So we put myself out there. I'm hiking. We're ended up on this trail. We run into David Rose and his wife clapping at coyotes. And then we get to Airport Mesa. I don't know. I'm not going to assume, but I'm going to assume. So then we end up getting to Airport Mesa. And Airport Mesa, we ended up going live on. So if you were on that live, you were with us. But it has an energy to it that's like a dog. It was very welcoming. It was very like, like it reminded me of my boxer dog. Like this just very warm, welcoming. I'm happy to have you. Welcome, sit, enjoy, and relax. It was not off-putting. There was one that I was not comfy on. There was a vortex. I was like, this one ain't for me. But the Airport Mesa was it. I liked that. It was cool. I liked that.
I was very chatty on Airport Mesa. Like the whole trail on that, I was like.
You weren't clapping at coyotes though.
No. The funny thing is that going back to you being like not talking to the neighbors. So when you go hiking and it's the Colorado girl in me, you always say hello to the people you pass. And you go, hi, good morning, good morning. And Matt's like, oh my God, like all of like the niceties.
Too
like
much,
we don't do this in New England.
No. See, I figured New England out. And if you're from New England, I'm so sorry, but I'm also originally born in Colorado, so I see a difference. So you want to know the difference of generalization that Matt has come to the conclusion of. So the East Coast people hate strangers, but they love their family. And it's like when you're in their inner circle, you're in it, but don't fuck up. Don't fuck up, right? Because then you're out and they cut you off. So we're not friendly to strangers up in New England. We don't say hello. We don't walk by somebody and be like, hello, how are you today? We're more like, mind your business. I'm going to Dunks, right? Where Midwestern people are more like, we hate our family. We love strangers. So you'll be at the grocery store and they'll be like, hi, how are you today? How's everything going? And so like being an East Coast planted person, because now I've lived in New England longer than I've lived in Colorado. So I picked up a lot of mannerisms when they're going out west when Dana's like, hi, hello, hi. And I'm like, bitch is going to get mugged in this bush. This is asking for it.
You could tell. I was like, Matthew, you have to say hi to everybody. When that's like the nice, courteous thing to do when you're on the trail is you have to say hi to people. Like when you
I started doing it when you said it.
Yeah. I was like, you're supposed to say hi to people. It's like what you do when you hike.
Yeah. When somebody's like, hi, I'm like, why?
Why are you looking at me?
Why are you saying hi to me? But that's the New England East Coast jaded, right? So I like to preface that. But we ended up getting to the rock. You were very chatty, and I liked it. It was cool. It was really awesome. And then apparently everybody else was chatty too.
Yeah. Well, no, but it was what I had told you was like, again, this was my fourth trip to Sedona, but my first trip to Airport Mesa, I ended up, I went to Sedona the first time by myself. And I just got my voice memo app. And I remember being on Airport Mesa just recording myself talking, because I was just download after download of just stuff that was coming through. And I was like, I got to record this, because it was a lot of spirit just kind of speaking through me. But just a lot of inspirational, just like stuff that just wanted to pour through. I feel like that would be a great place to like journal or write a book or like do stuff like that.
It has a creative, goofy energy. I feel like if you want to write a good children's book, go there.
Yeah.
Go there. And then after, I think we went to Montezuma's Well next, didn't we?
We did. And that's not technically considered like on the map a vortex, but we got to see Pam Sears, and that is what she can, for all of you that are on TikTok. Pam Sears is an amazing medium on TikTok, and she's a volunteer park ranger at a place called Montezuma's Well, right outside of Sedona. It's about 15, 20 minutes outside of Sedona. And it's such a beautiful, amazing little spot. And I mean, feeling the other vortexes of Sedona as I had, like I could tell why Pam called it a vortex and considers it a vortex, because that is a very sacred place. And I could definitely feel, in these vortex spots, you feel it in your body. You feel vibrations in your body. You feel like you may feel it in different parts of your body. Like there's certain places where I feel it more in my head, or I might feel it more in my heart. At Montezuma as well, when we saw Pam Sears, I really felt it in my heart in that place. And I felt my crown chakra like just going crazy there. We saw, there just happened to be a gentleman that came from Mount Shasta that was drawn to come there with his flute. And he was playing like this beautiful flute music right there. And now, I mean, that just touched all of us, and just like all of our heart chakras were like bursting, like just brought us all to tears. And it was just this amazing, beautiful moment.
How fucking lucky were we that day to show up and a person playing a flute, and they needed a dragon flute too. You can't negate the dragon flute. But he played actual music with this flute that were probably tribal-based songs. And it puts you in this zone. And I started bawling. I was trying not to let Pam Sears see me cry, because I think when Pam Sears sees weakness, she wants to hug you. And I'm like, I already capped my hug this morning, Dana. Because I'm not a hugger. But it was really emotionally moving. And you feel... So from the stories that I'm gathering, please just bear with me. From what I understand, it's a natural well. So the water comes up. It's got all this properties to it, blah, 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 but it's full of arsenic. So the water is not good. Like, you can't use the water for what the water is while it's in the well. But the Native American tribes that live there figured out a way to burrow through the side of the well to get it to irrigate. And then at one point, it's now filtered out the arsenic, and they use that water to then in turn irrigate their crops. So they used the water. They figured it out. But it has like ruins in it where the Native American tribes actually dwelled on the inner rim of it. And you can feel... not spirit. I wouldn't say spirit. Maybe spirit. I don't know. But you feel this human history in it that is so sacred that you are not supposed to be there touching things that you are not supposed to be touching. So they put you on the path and the trails to preserve as much, but it's a sacred place. And for Pam to invite us there, because I feel like that's where Pam does a lot of her sitting with spirit, it was an honor. So let's just take a moment for that, of her just bringing us to a place that she did not even have to bring us to. She could have literally been like, this is the well, bye. But she was like, no. Come with me. You're going to feel this. And the trees. Oh, Dana, the trees.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the trees. We're going to get to trees.
Okay. But the trees. Okay. So we ended up going there. We walk around with Pam Sears for a little bit. We hear the flute player. We see all the ruins. We walk over. We get some photos. And she is funny. Okay, first of all, if you don't know Pam Sears' humor, she is very funny. Like, when you see her on live, she does come off this, like, I'm very sweet, I'm very kind, but don't mess with me because I will boot you out of my room faster than your head can spin. Because she suffers no fools.
No.
Pam Sears suffers no fools, but she's very sweet. Pam Sears is like, she was telling us some stories, and she was like, well, it was their fault.
Yeah.
I can't say the story, but she's like, it's their fault.
Yeah. She's
if
funny.
somebody gets sick. Yeah. So she's really funny. She's very witty. So thank you, Pam. I know if you ever listen to this podcast, thank you so much for inviting me and Dana. It was really truly a treasure. It was nice to meet you in person and build that relationship with you, because I think you're a fantastic human being. So thank you.
That was really, really cool. That was, and then to get off of the beaten path of what, like I said, the 4 main vortexes that everybody talks about in Sedona was really cool. And to feel, I mean, I definitely felt something major there. So that was really, really awesome. And then the next one we went to, we went that same day, we went to Cathedral Rock, which is a climb.
The climb, girl.
A climb.
I felt like that was Mount Everest.
I mean, it's a little hairy.
It was vertical. I was not expecting it. So what you see from a distance for Cathedral Rock is you see 2 mountains. I don't even know, mesas that were joined together, and there's a gap between both of them. And you hike up the middle of it to stand in this plateau that connects, or a bridge that connects both mesas together. And it's like a 90-degree vertical climb. I kept saying, hairy. I'm a vining houseplant. I'm a vining houseplant.
I was so proud of you. I was really proud of you. I was like, I'm pushing.
I didn't fall.
No, I did. I was strategic in what I decided to have us do first, but I was like, I was so proud of you.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to climb that. And then you actually have a sense of accomplishment when you get to the part where it says trail ends here.
Yeah. Well, but you
nice.
said that was your favorite day. Like, that was like your favorite day, and the views from up there. Like, honestly, I think the views up there were my favorite, because it feels, there's these little, like, you're not just going like this the whole time. There's kind of these points where you kind of can look around, and it looks like you're on a movie set. It looks so surreal, like that you're on a movie set. And it's just, oh my God, the views up top are just, they're stupid. They're stupid, amazing when you get to the top. So what did you feel on Cathedral Rock?
Well, at first I felt proud, because I was like, if this guy can hike this with his dog on his back all the way up, I can do this.
Yeah,
so
there was a guy with a dog on his back.
The dog was chilled. The dog was like, I'm going up the mountain. It's
Tuesday.
What did I feel up there? I felt really, I'm not going to lie, I felt really uncomfortable. Like, I'm not usually afraid of heights at all. I felt like there was a part where you had gone off into this little ledge, and then we took pictures, but like, I felt my body being like, nope, we don't do that. It was it was the best view I've seen in Sedona out of the entire thing, because I think it was kind of wedged between 2 valleys that you could look on either way. It had a 360-degree view, but it was very high for me. So I didn't really feel the vortexes as much as fear. But it was very, if I could describe it, ancient. I would say knowledge, a lot of knowledge up there. I could see people sitting up there and just really kind of connecting to source up there. Like, I should have sat in the power up there.
Yeah. It was very busy up there.
Antenna.
Yeah, I think maybe if it was less busy, because there's a lot of coming and going and a lot of people walking back and forth, and it would have been hard to be quiet up there. But I could definitely see that. There was I was very calm up there, which is weird to be that calm that high. I'm afraid of heights, and I that ledge was a little hairy, but I was not scared to be out there.
Oh, good for you, girl, because my body was like, you ain't going on that ledge.
You were like, I'll take your picture.
Yeah, I'm like, you just go out to the ledge. Don't fall. Click.
You're like, come back. That's good, Dana. Come back.
Can we take a funny like moment to like acknowledge that Sedona will elevate what you're feeling? Mm-hmm. Like if you're in any emotion at near vortex, prepare to have it heightened.
Oh yeah, there was because if you're having a great time and laughing, you're gonna laugh more. But if you're having a bad time and maybe having an argument with somebody, that gets bigger too.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were climbing down the hill and we were watching this lady berate her husband in the middle of it. I'm like, Cathedral Rocky for you.
No. I mean, it was exploding and it was like, we're just gonna.
She was screaming at him.
Oh, it was bad.
But that's true straight across. I feel like if you have an emotion in Sedona, it really elevates you because the energy is heightened. Mm-hmm. And so whatever, and you had said something really interesting that kind of stuck with me of like, either Sedona will embrace you or it will spit you out because it does not want you there. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking like it's an entity, but I feel like it's the energy there will either make you a better person or it'll be a very quick trip and you will just not want to be there because you'll be very uncomfortable. So I feel like kind of going there with an intent of being realigned and recentered and rebalanced and being open to experiences is a good thing to do in Sedona. I don't think going there with expectation and or a time frame there of like planning every single moment, every single time. Like if you're a control freak, Sedona ain't for you. I can tell you that. You need to go, be prepared to cry because it is very emotional. And not only are you crying because you're healing, but you're crying because it's so beautiful there. That it's just, it takes you over and it puts you in this place of how much you are mortal, how much you are just a blip in this time of timeline or whatever you want to use. You're just a blip. And so it just really humbles you in certain spots. But let's move on to this. We talked about portals. Well, how many psychic shops?
Yeah.
Oh, we have one more portal?
We have one more... we have one more vortex, which is Boynton Canyon.
Meh.
Yeah, you didn't like
it. It was not my favorite. Yeah. It was not my favorite. It was pretty. It was just not my. It was not my favorite. It was nice that the guy was sitting there meditating with tribal music on, but it was just meh.
Didn't
I don't know what is your thoughts?
So Boynton Canyon is an interesting vortex because it definitely does have the masculine and feminine, and then there's a point in the middle where you feel perfect balance, and you see it in the tree. There's a point where the tree just goes straight up. So
it didn't twist.
Exactly. So you can literally see it. I love Boynton Canyon as a hike. I haven't felt like this amazing like experience at Boynton Canyon like other people do. So it's interesting that you didn't feel that either. I've also found in going with different people that people are either drawn to like either the masculine part of it or the feminine part. And they just gravitate to one or the other. So it's interesting to see where they're drawn. So it's an interesting thing to watch.
I think the masculine part of Boynton Canyon was it for me. I liked it, but I don't need to go back there.
Yeah.
I have no draw to go back to Boynton Canyon. Nope.
Yeah. Interesting.
That was just me.
And that's the thing that's so interesting about Sedona. And we'll get to the metaphysical shops in a second, but I think my favorite thing about Sedona, especially going 4 times, the first time I went by myself, and then every other time I've brought my favorite people with me. And it's seeing Sedona through their eyes and watching them experience Sedona and how uniquely it works on each individual person is one of my favorite things to watch, and just watching them discover. Because I think that each vortex works, and every experience is unique to that person. And I feel as though the land works on each person the way that it's meant to work on them. And before I want to touch on the trees, because much like the vortexes have their own personality or kind of work on people their own certain way. Because I know people that like do their best work in Boynton Canyon. And that is like, that vortex is like where they do their biggest work. So I feel like we're all like pulled to like work where we work, right? But the trees, because I'm a tree hugger, you know, Dana loves to hug a tree, and I made Matt
love to hug a tree.
I may have made Matt hug a tree and take a picture of it, but you felt the trees. The trees have so much knowledge in Sedona.
Yeah, that tree that our friend Nimue brought us to. Oh, she a big girl. She a big girl. And you know, what's really funny is you can pick up things psychically on the land, where I kept saying to you, there's another tree that's like aligned with this tree. And we thought it was the other direction, like that was facing each other. No, they were opposite. If you lined up this tree to the other tree, and we're talking like tens of miles away, they were in alignment with each other. And I swear there was communication going back and forth. It was the weirdest feeling. And this tree looked like the one that Nimue had brought us to, was like reaching out. It was like twisting and reaching out. So it was near our vortex, and you could tell it was near a vortex, but it spiraled out and it felt isolated. It was the weirdest. It was the biggest tree in the weirdest spot in the middle of nowhere. On the side of a mountain, surviving and thriving. Crazy. Like, it was nuts. Like, usually trees that get that big are usually not trees that are in a lot of shade. This tree was full of shade.
And it was darker. It had like darker bark, and like had like, but when you touch, it was interesting. Like, I got right into it. I got into the depths of the tree, and you were like, no, you just felt like that you could just.
I just touched a branch.
Touched a branch, and I was like, "Come here, baby. Oh, come here, mama.
Mama loves you."
But
it was interesting.
But you felt like there were certain trees that you touch and you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
There is some knowledge in this tree, and they each had a personality. Like they each have like something that they're meant to do. Like I like to call it medicine, because I do believe that the land is medicine, and I think each tree has medicine or knowledge that they're supposed to give you, or each vortex has medicine or knowledge that it's supposed to give you. And it's one of the things I had told Matt when we got there. I was like, just let the land work on you the way that it's supposed to work on you. Just really...
It worked. It worked. It was WERK.
Better work. Well, but
work.
But that's the important thing, because we kind of touched on this a little bit, where, you know, there's this love and light thing, and I think that there's this over-marketed love and light thing that happens, especially in a place like Sedona, where people do go for spiritual enlightenment and things like that, and we like to overly love and light things, but that's not how we reach that, right? And I think that sometimes when we have to face and we grow, we have to really face the ucky stuff and do the shadow work, which is, you know, that buzzword, but you really do. You have to like face all of that, and that can be really difficult. And sometimes those tears come from joy, but sometimes those tears come from processing a lot of pain.
Yeah, I felt like there are certain parts that kind of open you up, and it's just kind of, you just need to feel, and that's it, and you just move forward. Like, you don't sit on it and then you're like, okay, I let out a good cry, now I'm gonna go over here. But the spirituality is heightened there, because I can tell you, I get some fire readings when I was there. Because I was just so open and relaxed and being like, okay, whatever comes, it's like an amplifier. So it was very cool, which leads me to my next thing. Every 2 freaking feet there was a psychic shop. I have never seen so many psychic shops in a small ass radius ever than in Sedona, Arizona. Like, you could literally, it was like a Starbucks in New York City. You were like, I don't like this one, I'm going to go to the one two corners down.
Every single place.
There was a point where there was like 4 of them on a corner. I was like, Dana, does somebody need this many psychics and this many crystals? Like, it's like, yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. And then we went to Tlaquepaque, which is like a little market. And then we went over to this other metaphysical store. And I'm just going to let you tell this story because I think you tell it best.
Oh, we're going to tell this story?
I think we need to tell this story because it was very cool. It was very awesome.
It was very meta. I feel like this is a little braggy, but it was very cool.
I don't think it's braggy. I think it's like why we were meant to be there to help with somebody's education. So like I think the benefit of it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's tell the story without kind of going into depth. So we go into the shop. We are shopping for ourselves. We don't get recognized, but we're talking about some mediumship training deck that we use. And a lady had said that she had listened to our podcast and we inspired her to go to that metaphysical store. And it was just really surreal, but it was really kind of, that's the reason why we were there, was to help guide somebody at the foundations of their mediumship. So it was surreal and cool at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it braggy a little bit because it's just like, I'm very proud of our podcast and thank you for supporting us. And then the listener, I hope those cards work out for you.
Yes.
So if you want to message us, please, Matt and Dina, hello@mattandina.com. Let us know how it's working out for you. Because we always like to stay, we like to stay connected to your development. So we're very interested in those working for you. But it was just the universe telling us, hey, you're right where you need to be in this moment.
Yeah, no, it was such a beautiful, I mean, literally, I think Matt and I were like, holy shit, that was a sign. We'll take that as a sign. Thank you that we were on the right track. And especially, you know, I think it's that packaged plastic spirituality. Buy this crystal, get this healing, get this thing. And that's what can happen in a place like that, right? Yeah. We saw it with some of the readers that were offering services in a place like that, and it was discouraging because we had started off that experience in that store very discouraged because we were looking at some of the offerings that store was giving. And we felt very discouraged, like, really, this is what they're offering in this beautiful place as services to people seeking out spirituality, mediumship, other things. And then we had that beautiful moment in that store that, like, nope, you're actually doing what you need to be doing. And so that was really cool.
And all we had to do was listen.
All we had to do is just show up. Just show up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
it was beautiful.
Yeah. So Sedona, amazing, life-changing.
I go again.
Yeah.
I would go again, but I don't think I could go again without you. I think you were the best part of Sedona because we just had fun, and I feel like I came back as a better person for going. Besides the last part of my trip where I got food poisoning.
That was a little bumpy. Well, because I was going to go into, like, you know, we talked about the trees and the vortexes and the area and the beauty of it. But for me, and I'm glad you kind of started to go there, it was the experience with you. And, you know, it was a little bit of a, like, you know, we talk all the time. We do, whether we're on Zoom or we're talking all day long anyway. But, like, two mediums in a house left alone to their own devices with nothing but a TikTok account. Mm-hmm.
It makes you goofy. Oh, my God, the cat.
Well, and then I ordered one and then the leg broke. But
so this metal cat at this Airbnb is now that's our mascot.
Spirit animal.
Yeah, her name is Sedona. Mm-hmm. She loves peanut butter.
Loves it. It's really good for a keto diet. If you guys didn't know, it's a great keto treat. And Sedona's really worked hard to get this body, and she really wants to maintain it. But but it's really good to have a treat.
Wait, hold up.
Sedona
Let me just
also
preface
likes
this.
to do the Ouija board.
Oh, let me just preface this, though. This is not the actual cat from the Airbnb.
No.
We loved the cat so much, we each ordered one.
We each ordered one, but mine came broken. So
But Sedona, yeah, we did a Ouija board. We'll talk about that in a future podcast, the Ouija board experience. But it was such a fun trip with you, and I just can't thank you enough for inviting me there and sharing that with me, and Pam Sears for hosting us there and meeting the wonderful, beautiful Nimue. It has been such a delight to be in that space with you and share that sacred place with you. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, that place and those memories with you are going to live in my heart forever. I mean, the laughs and the giggles and that's all we did. We just laughed a lot, you know?
It was so fun. It was so fun. What was your biggest takeaway from Sedona?
I'm just always so humble and grateful to be there. I think it was validation of I'm right where I need to be. I think that this trip, so every trip teaches me something. And I think this trip was validation of I'm with. You being my partner in crime is the person I need to be doing this with. And that I am exactly where I need to be on this journey.
Oh,
what about
same.
you?
I was the same. You kind of said it. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. I mean, there's a couple things that I learned that you don't make your bed on vacation.
Don't.
Don't play strip poker with two psychics. You'll lose.
Also true.
And just how much, I think another thing that too about Sedona really quick before we wrap it up is how much I bonded with my friend group. Not just you, but just my friends in general, of just including them. Because I am going to desperately miss our nightly Zooms.
Yeah.
Because we usually Zoomed at night with our 4 amigos or 5 amigos, all of us. And we just had so much fun. So I am gonna miss that as well. So
yeah, it was the importance of like slowing down and enjoying relationships, right? Because I think you and I are both workhorses, and we're gonna get right back into our workhorse mode, because I think as core of people, that's who we are, and I think that we love what we do, and that drives us as well. But I think we needed a recalibration and a rebalancing of remembering that at the very end of the day, this, you and me, means more than the work, right?
Yeah. Well, Dina, thank you so much for recapping Secret Trip, and we just really appreciate everybody listening, everybody supporting this podcast. We are just so happy and humbled to be doing this. So welcome back, kids. Buckle up.
Welcome back, because Matt and Dana are back to work, which means
we got a lot going on.
We're going to work all day today because Matt's a freaking slave driver. But I want to I will leave y'all with the encouragement of tell the people that you love them. Spend the time with the people that you love. It's important.
And you are the light of 100,000 Sedona skies. You are the light.
Yeah. Do something nice for everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.